Okay. Hello, everybody. Sorry for the little technical glitch. We will get started. Okay, so first, I want to welcome everybody to here to this webinar. It's Mastering Your Database Marketing for Real Estate. So thank you for being bold enough to take the time out of your day and work on your business rather than always work in it, and not to sit still in this marketplace and be willing to do the work that's required to make sure that you thrive and survive. This course is not an easy silver bullet fix to fix everything that's going on and everything that's wrong, but it is a great way to live your professional life, to set up your systems, to get your marketing started and automated so that you can actually connect with your clientele. And we're going to go through a whole lot today. Again, it's pretty intense. Hold on, let me set my little clock so we don't run over. There we go. Thank you. Okay, so with that being stated, let's get started. Okay, so first thing to do is there's some giveaways at the end of this. If you're on your phone, take a screenshot of this. If you're not on your phone, I highly suggest that you register here. This is not Lab Coat's registration. This is my registration because it lets me know who to send out all the stuff to, because there's a whole lot that we're going through today. So there's literally a checklist that kind of guides you through, because we like doing this step by step. And so that this way, the only thing you really need today is your phone or your screen. You don't have to take a lot of notes. First of all, Lab Coat Agents, and my friend there, Young, does a great job in getting this webinar right on their YouTube channel and in their Facebook group within a couple of hours after it's happened. If you ever find yourself in need of and have a question like, well, how do I do this? Or how do I do that in real estate? Or how do I explain this? I highly, highly recommend their YouTube channel. It's phenomenal. I've joined a lot of different groups, and I can tell you without a doubt that I think this is one of the best groups out there. Okay, having said that, let's get started on this. Okay, in case you want to get a hold of me, you can take a screenshot of this. This is the link card. It'll take you to all my social media, my Google page, which is what I really think you need. Okay, here's what you'll learn in this class. Get to the exciting stuff. How to organize your database for success. Your database marketing plan. We put a whole plan together for you in step-by-step detail. And then again, for those of you who register, you'll get a copy of it afterwards. The 4 key activities to get your database marketing plan started. And we're also going to cover how to choose a CRM that's right for you, and how to track and measure to improve your results. Because it's great to do things, but if you're not tracking them, you're not going to know what's working and what's not working. I see there's a whole bunch of people in the chat. Hold on, let me see. Anything in here? Okay, good. We've got people from Houston, from Scottsdale. Wow, we got people from all over. That's awesome. Okay, so let's answer the question, why is growing your marketing in your database important? What does it do for you? And by the way, you can put that in the chat. What do you think this does for you? What do you think having a database and learning how to market there actually does for you? Well, effectively working your database can generate a 10% yield. So what that means is for every 7 to 10 people you have in your database, you should get at least 1 transaction. So even if you have 60 people say, okay, I'm just getting started, I'm in this for a year, and by database, I also like to include sphere of influence. I've been doing this for a year. What can I hope to get from that? I only have 60 people. Well, guess what? If you do what we say here and you get those results, that's going to equal about $65,000 in GCI. That's not bad. And by the way, it's not me saying this. There's other people here. This is where we name drop. So Tom Ferry says the same thing. For every 10 people in your database, you should get at least one deal, sometimes even 7 people if you do it really well. And by the way, if you've got 100 people in your database, that's $110,000. Who couldn't use that? Okay, so what's the purpose of a database? So maybe we should backtrack a little bit further and say, what's the meaning of all this? Why do we need a database? Well, we need that to be able to follow up, keep in contact, and most of all, create more deals. I mean, it's all good. So let me give you a great explanation of that. So the database purpose, to sum it up, it's connect and provide value for a specific group of people who can help you get future business. So your database is the people that you are going to market to, contact, you're going to connect with and provide value to. So over time, you can cultivate relationships with and start conversations with. Because conversations lead to contracts. So what does it do? It acts as a central point for engaging leads. So this is what actually your database does. It adds as your central hub, your central point for engaging leads, prospecting for your existing clients. It stores information like conversations, client notes, home search criteria, emails, birthdays, milestones, and transaction details, and a whole lot more. It really does a lot. So, but the one thing it doesn't do is it doesn't work with Excel. So how many people here have used Excel over the last 10 years as their database? Yeah, me too. Excel is not a database. Do yourself a favor, get out of Excel or export your Excel into a database. And we're going to go through databases, but I did that for 20 years. And it took me forever to change it over and to break myself of that habit. And I still keep some stuff in Excel. Okay, so when we speak of sphere of influence and database marketing, this is what we're talking about, your sphere of influence. And it's kind of like putting your sphere of influence down on paper. So put in the chat, what's your number one source of business? Like, how are you getting business? Okay, so some answers there. So again, look at the ways that you get your business, and they're the people that are around you. They're the people that are in your sphere of influence. A lot of agents have a watered down sphere of influence. Here's what I mean. It's a sphere of influence that's too big. Like myself included, we all look at this big thing and go, okay, wow, we know all these people. We've got all this, amount of family and friends, but it gets too big. It gets too unwieldy. So we should really take a look at what we should put and who we should put in your database, in your sphere of influence. And here's who you should count. Everyone that knows you, everyone that you know, who knows who you are by your name. That's my kind of rule of thumb. Like if someone knows me, they know my name, they know what I do, then they're a legitimate sphere of influence. So it's a kind of really easy rule, because if you look at, this is done by an anthropologist, Robin Dunbar. She came up with, because you can have 1,000 people in your social media sphere, so to speak. I've got, I don't know, 1,950 followers. By the way, 1,875 of them are realtors. That's what happens when you're in the mortgage business. But can I maintain contacts with all of them? Can I really count on them to refer me? Can I have meaningful conversations with those people? Not very likely. So when Robin Dunbar did this study, they came up with 150 people. I think you can sometimes stretch that to 200, but these are people that you do it on a consistent basis. that you keep in contact with, that you can start a conversation with. They know who you are, they know what you do. So, like I said, you may have 1,000 friends, 2,000 friends, 5,000 friends, but are they really in your sphere of influence? I think it's more 150 to 200. Okay, so it shouldn't include people that are community residents that you've never met. I just moved into a community with 232 people. I've met about 80. I would consider myself in terms of sphere of influence with maybe 8 different couples. Buyer seller leads from years ago, whose names you don't even remember. No, internet leads you've never even spoken with. They're not in your sphere of influence. In fact, the NAR, according to NAR in 2021, the Home Buyer Seller Trends Report showed that 53% of all buyers were referred by their sphere of influence, a relative or a neighbor or the agent's sphere of influence. So that's a good number to take a look at. And unfortunately, here's not such a good number, 13%. So what does that mean? 13% who used an agent to buy a home didn't use that agent, or only 13% did use that agent. So that means 87% did not use that agent again. That was really astounding when I saw that. And it was really one of the reasons that I took to this course, was because that makes no sense. And by the way, it's no different for us in the mortgage industry. Why is that? It's because we didn't find a way to keep in touch consistently, to add value, to be engaging to our past clientele base. And that's a shame, because I would say that the vast majority of us strive to do a really good job. And we do. And they go to settlement and everything goes smoothly. And then we lose touch. We forget to keep in their lives. So we need to do a better job of that. So if you all want to say, if you want to look at how sellers found a real estate agent, well, again, 41% of all sellers were referred to by a friend or family member or someone in their sphere of influence or the agent's sphere of influence. Now, here wasn't quite as bad. You sold these people a home, and 74% of you still got ignored because we didn't keep in touch. So again, these are really drastic statistics. When you look at it, they're disappointing. So our goal today is not to let that happen to you. And it's going to require a little bit of work, true. But the secret to repeat and referral business is simple. Stay in touch with your past clientele and your sphere. Agents who set aside, this is what I found, agents who set aside time for follow-up are the most likely to succeed, with the longest careers, highest earnings, and the highest percentage of, I call it, rinse and repeat clients. Keep in mind, it takes money, energy, and effort to get a client in the first place. Once you have them, it takes far less energy to retain a client and have that client use you again than it does to get a whole new client. So this is very economic for your pocketbook too. So if you organize your database, it makes staying in touch with them so much easier, to give them engaging content, to have them use you again. So let's learn how to do that. All right, try and do it in 3 easy, to organize this in 3 easy steps, because organization is the key. So first of all, think about it in contacts. What are contacts? Who, what, where? Lead sources, and contact status. These aren't the only criteria to organize your database, but they are the top 3, and the ones that you'll get the most return on investment from. So organizing your contacts can be fairly simple. You can do a 1, 2, 3 rating. You can do ABC. You can do a red, yellow, green format, whichever works best for you. Okay, but here's how we started. So a category is your sphere of influence. These are your most valuable contacts. So A, family, past clients, past coworkers, neighbors, college friends, open house leads, people that you are going to be in touch with, um, the people that know you and know what you do by name. B category, referrals, farm leads, online leads, associations, networking groups, chamber of commerce stuff. These may be people that you've spoken with over the phone a little bit, have had maybe an initial contact with. And then the C category, your paid online leads, which, if you close 1% of that, you're doing well. 2%. Your website visitors, your cold sources, social media, direct messages, all that kind of stuff. So they wouldn't be in your A category sphere of influence. But keep in mind, your whole goal is to take the C category, move it into the B category, take the B, move it into the A. As much as you can, figure out who's going to be the great sources for you and the good leads. Okay, the majority of your attention and engagement investment should be where you receive the bulk of your business. As you can see here, the A category. Doesn't mean you ignore the B or the C, but most of it's going to be from A, some of it from the top of B too. Let's see if we have any questions. Yes, past clients are gold. Yep, Ryan, that's exactly true. They are, and they're so much easier to keep acquired than to have to reacquire new ones. Okay, so let's look at referral ranking score, because now you've categorized them, but you've got to rank them too. So, A, referred 2+ clients in the last year. B, referred at least one client during the whole lifetime. C, would refer if the opportunity came up. And D, on those unfortunate ones who are indifferent. So that's a different way to rank them, to say who's active and who's not active. Because keep in mind, as you see, as we get on in this type of division, we'll have ways to categorize them so that it'll mesh with your database management, with your CRM, so you can figure out what type of marketing goes to that type of person. Okay, so organizing your contacts can be simple. We just start with the who, what, where information in your contacts. Then you need to add, relevant details. You can have, are they buyer, are they seller, are they investor, are they looking for a second home, a vacation home? What property type are they looking for? You can not so much rank them, but categorize them that way. Needs, wants, must have, dream home. Is it a starter home? Is it a vacation home? And there's reasons that you do that because I don't know about your multiple listing service. I subscribe to Bright, and Bright has a coming soon, which most do. Most have some sort of coming soon thing. So, something pops up and I see a vacation home down the shore. I'm sorry, I'm in the Philadelphia, New Jersey, New York area, and we call it the shore. Everywhere else in the continental United States calls it the beach or calls it the coast. For some reason, we call it the shore. So I apologize if you're going, what the hell is he talking about? So I'm going to start with who. Are they the buyer, the seller? Then you want to go to what, what kind of property are they looking for? Another thing is where. What's their location preference? So again, in the area that I am, you could have one neighborhood next to the next one. Neighborhood A is totally different from neighborhood B. The attributes that they have, the things that somebody wants. Maybe there's a school in neighborhood B that they want their child to go to, has a great reputation. So again, location preferences is another way to divide that up. And this all start to come together and to make sense when you see how we do the marketing there. Okay, you should also score your buyers based on their timeline to buy, because I'm going to market differently to someone who's out looking, like 0 to 3 months than I am 3 to 6 months, and definitely than I am going to score someone differently looking from 6 months to a year or over a year out, but A, has a lender, you can divide it any way you want, but has a lender pre-approved and are they out looking? Um, B, are they out looking and not pre-approved? Shame on you. Sorry, it's a little joke. What's their timeline to buy or sell? 3 to 6 months, 6 months to a year, 0 to 3 months. That makes a difference because what I market to them, and I'll use mortgages. Where mortgages are now, 6 months from now is going to be much differently. So if I'm trying to get someone to understand that rates in the sixes right now are not where they're going to be in 6 months from now, I might send them some articles that are telling where rates are going. And that's just on the mortgage end. You have different trends that you can relate to them. Additional details for your contents are the little things, for your contacts, sorry, are the really little things that make a big difference. Stuff like their life status. They have a growing family. Are they empty nesters? Are they retiring? Have they recently gone through a divorce? Has there been a death in the family? All these little things. What are their interests, their likes? Golf, travel, RV. You see behind me all the guitars, right? They're there for a reason. It's not because I'm an amazing guitar player, because quite frankly, I stink. I like it, but I stink. But I generate conversations with that. There's little things that I put in my marketing. I used to be a camper. Um, I feed feral cats. All that stuff really makes a difference. And if you can put notes in your CRM, in your database, it'll make a huge difference in how you connect with people. Because those are the things, knowing that someone is really charity driven. They like donations, or if you remember their anniversaries, their graduations, their birthdays, their children's stuff, all that stuff makes a huge difference to people because they want to feel like you're seeing them. And quite frankly, I will tell you that it's great when you make these notes and you know who you're talking to, because you yourself can generate interest in that person through yourself. I mean, that's one of the joys I've gotten throughout my career, has really been um, knowing people. Like, I have people that I helped buy their first house when I was doing this for the first 5 years, and I'm now helping their children. That's a tremendous honor, and it's also a good feeling for me. So that's the little intangibles you get. And the more you know, the better they like it. The more you know about them, the more you can connect with them. You're trying to start conversations. Number one mantra: conversations lead to contracts. You're not fall under contract without getting those conversations. So you want to have things that will start conversations. How do you get all that information? Ask. That's it. It's that simple. And again, it's the more interesting part, but there's a lot of different ways that you can do this. This is Leah Goldstein. So she tries to get details and gets details from her clients, from potential clients, using a survey. She encourages them to reply to a survey she sends out. And when she sends that survey, by the way, what she does is she starts out by answering those questions, the same questions she's asking her clients. She answers them about herself, so they get to know her. Little trick that works really, really well for her. And she does it through Google Forms. And there's a lot of good things that you can get with Google Forms, and using it that way. It's free. We all love free. You can create a brief survey. You can just click, and you can do it through email. You can do it through text. There's a lot of different things you can get that. Another way is social media. So, listen, do people share their personal details on social media? And right now, and for the next probably 9 days, share a lot more than that, more than we really want to see. But yeah, so they do. they share birthdays, graduations, deaths, all that stuff. So, and I know it used to be considered weird and stalking, and now it's just researching your client. It's funny how that changes. But you can go on their social media. I am friends with a good majority of my past clients, and that's a very easy way to figure out what's going on in their lives. If things are changing that may involve a place where you can jump in, or just a way to keep in contact with them. And again, that's what you want to do. So um, you want to connect, engage, and comment. Don't just click likes. Just clicking likes doesn't move the algorithm. You want to send direct messages. So you want to DM them. And sometimes even if your records are incomplete, like if you're starting this and you've been doing this for 10 years and go, oh, great, I go through all my stuff and I have so much missing information. That's awesome. Don't look at that as a negative. That's actually a positive, because now you have a reason to get in touch with these people who you may not have spoken to in 2 years or 3 years, and who were maybe about to list their house, or their neighbor next door is going to list their house. Again, starting conversations. This is a great way to do it. I time block my social media every morning. I do at least a half hour. Again, every closing I do, I make sure I friend that person so I can see what's going on in their lives. And in all this, you need a plan. So the old saying, if most people don't plan to fail, they fail to plan. Okay. So in order to succeed in database marketing, you need a plan. And guess what? We have one. Okay. So one of the tricks here in conversion ratio is a database marketing plan with at least 40 actual or annual sphere of influence contacts should result in one closed transaction for every 7-10 people in your database. All right, we already spoke about that. Now, if you do the math, and you're a math nerd like me, which is good because I'm in finance, you're going to see that that's a lot of contacts. Okay, but there's many ways to grow your database. Let's focus on 3 proven ways to do that. So what does it take to get results like that? For that 7-to-10-1 ratio that we spoke about. So investing the time to get organized. It does take time. I'm not going to sugarcoat this, particularly in the beginning. It takes a lot of time to organize your database, get it into your CRM, figure out what kind of marketing. And that to me was the fun part, was figuring out, okay, I have someone who I just sold the house to, or I just did the financing for last year. What kind of marketing are they going to be looking for? That was actually a challenge, and it was fun, but it will take time to do this. And it's going to take some investment. You're going to have to buy a CRM if you don't have one, or if your company doesn't have one. You may even hire someone to take away some of that pain point and let them input all the stuff in there, which is something that I do. And it takes time and it takes effort. You're learning new technologies, learning new ways to use your social media, which is, a lot of the stuff that we teach. But once you put in that effort, investment, and put in that time, you're going to reap far more rewards, and you'll kind of automate it. It's not just, okay, this is a tool. It's really a way to live your real estate life, to live your client life in terms of getting new clients. This is the main engine. Once you get the engine built, put some gas in it, a little oil to lubricate it, it takes off, and you can really use it sustainably over the course of your entire career. It's getting it set up that's the challenge. But you know what? Here's the thing. If you do that, you'll be the 2 or 3 out of 100 agents that actually do it. So you'll be the ones that benefit, because a lot of people don't do it. Okay, in order to generate that 10% yield from your database, you have to be in communication with each and every person in your database. And like I said, 40 times a year. If you're a nerd like me and figure out that there's 40 touch points per year, that's over 6,000 contacts. How do you manage that over a year? There's a way to do it. There is. So let's take a look at them. Emails, 12 to 26 times a year. You've got different emails for different types of people, those looking, in currently, those looking a little bit in the future, those looking for, their first house, those looking for their adventure house or their vacation house, those looking for investments, all different types of emails. Snail mail. We'll get into that. We're going to get into each of these categories. Social media, you do weekly, monthly. Phone conversations. You don't have to do a lot. It's the most effective way, which we'll go through, but 2 to 4 times a year, which isn't a ton, can yield great results. So let's break these down really quick. Let me look at time, see where we are. Okay, we're good. Okay, so 47% of marketers, and this may surprise you, 47% of all marketing channels said that email was their most effective marketing channel. I wouldn't have suspected that. 39% of marketing said that social media. 33% said they did it through SEO. That's the returns they got. And the others were content marketing. So there's much different ways of doing it. This might surprise you. About email is 74% of baby boomers, which is my generation, kind of, think that email is the most personal and effective channel and the way that they prefer to receive communication. That's great. Doesn't go far from there. Gen X, 72%. Millennials, even 64%. It's once they open it. Sorry. So let's take a look at some email campaigns real quick. So first thing you can do is a newsletter. It's the simplest form of email marketing. The purpose of a newsletter is to provide expert content to your readers that they can count on, and in order to keep your services top of mind, like real estate education. You can, like, I'm starting a newsletter. I do a first-time buyers seminar twice a month, direct to the consumers. And I'm starting a newsletter and send them, stuff out through the newsletter to tell them what has changed, where interest rates are, all that kind of stuff. You can do guest posts, interviews with people that matter with what they're doing. You can do interviews with the people that help you do this: movers, mortgage people, title people, home inspectors. Market updates. What's going on in the market? Has it slowed? Are we getting more inventory? Are there multiple offers? You can give them a list of just listed, just sold, local happenings, things that are happening in their marketplace every month. Unique properties, every neighborhood has that property that just stands out. Either stands out in a great way or stands out like a sore thumb, either way. But everyone has it. Client stories are the most engaging. These are what get read the most. So particularly if you've had a great client story in something that you served someone and solved a problem for them. They were having a problem with X. They were doing this before, it wasn't working. You come in, save the day. They love to hear that story. Again, buying and selling tips, renovation tips, another good one. Partner resources, you can do that twice a year. Checklists and guides. By the way, if you have a Google business profile, and if you don't, go to Lab Code Agents. We did a webinar. It's my most attended class, and it's the one that has the most immediate results. But there's a place for you to put checklists and guides on your Google business profile. It's called products. So pay attention to that, because people do check that stuff. And I've had very good responses from realtors who said that they did that and they see it being downloaded. Okay, you can build up your email database too, create a free download. You can use it as a lead magnet. You can do something simplistic like this. This is compelling and simple. Here's the reason to subscribe. Like, for me, if I'm buying a house on the beach or on the coast, I might find this attractive. Yeah, I want the latest scoop on what's happening in that place I want to buy. Here's another way to do it. Getting your home ready for market or buying your first home. We've all seen these books advertised. I actually, in my last class, help people subscribe to get a customized book for free for this. So that's a free download on how to get your home ready. Bingo. You get an email list from that. One of the most easiest and most popular newsletters is the market update, right? So you can do that a couple different ways. You can do it with generic marketing update, but I think that doesn't really create much value. So adding your own personal touch to this, giving your hot take on it. I mean, this is what you do. You're an expert in a specific area. So people want to see your take on it. So doing that can really help you increase the trust that they have in you. It can really build up your followers also fairly quickly. And do this in a video and send it out through email. You can do it through BombBomb, or if you want to text it to people, if it's less than a minute, that's great to do. And I like making them short little series, 1 to 3 minutes tops. And I send these out to clients, and I get a pretty good response. And you can even, make it compelling. To give you an example, you find a house in a neighborhood that's selling, that's asking, just got listed for more than anything has ever sold in that neighborhood. And you can text that to people, go, hey, here's my thoughts on this. Do you think this house is worth it? Or you can do that in an update. Stay tuned. Then the house goes under agreement. Whether it goes under agreement 5 days or 50 days. You do that on there. That's your update. And then when it sells and you find out what it sold for, you can do that. So you can actually make it like a little soap opera. So you have to have fun with this and think about because very likely things that will entertain you will entertain your clients, and you want to engage them. Okay, so here's another newsletter, pardon me, and it's highlighting what's new and notable in Nashville. And then there's featured listings there, and he goes into the feature listings a little bit. And then at the very bottom, this is what I really like. P.S. 5 things I love right now. And it starts talking about his new puppy, what he's binge watching on Netflix, which is always a good topic. And, it really helps to build a personal brand and a connection. And those things can start conversation. Anybody know what this is? Yes, that's a phone. It's a relic that still works better than anything else. Calling your sphere of influence is the free and easy thing to do, that you can just pick up the phone and call, and it gets the best results. Conversations lead to contracts. And unless you're standing next to the person, this is the best thing to do. This is the thing that'll get you the most results and will give you the most information. Listen, phone calls have their pros and cons, right? The pros, they generate more leads and more referrals than anything else. Cons, you have to make the time to do it. Okay, so being consistent in your calling your database is a matter of time management then. So let's say you have 250 people in your database, which is more than I think you should, but let's say you have 200 or your close sphere of influence. How do you call those? Well, time management, right? 250 people call, 2 calls a year, 500 total calls, 5-day work week, 250 business days. You can do the math, 2 calls per day. Or you can do what I like to do. I actually set aside maybe 2 hours on Thursday morning, or Thursday late afternoon, to get that done. I sit down, time block, and I call the people that I want to call. But they should be really no more than 10-minute calls. Some of them would be 3 or 4-minute calls. Some of them would be 15-minute calls. They're going to average 10, 12 minutes a call. Um, and at the end of that call, do you know anyone who's thinking of moving? Are you aware any of your neighbors are going to move? Yeah, gee, I forgot. Bob and Mary's kid just graduated and they got a job in a different city. So I know they're not moving home. They don't have any more kids in the house. They're probably good people to contact. Can I get their number? Bingo. I mean, again, conversations lead to contracts, but you can do it whichever way works for you. You want to do 2 a day? That's great. You want to do it like I do, which is just sit down for 2 hours in time block. That'll work too. And by the way, we count conversations in that. We don't just count the attempt to make a call. So if you need a script, here it is. You can get ChatGPT to write you a very good script for this. But again, you can use this and you'll have access to this shortly. And listen, maybe it's been a while since you've done this. Again, don't be afraid to do it. I can't tell you how many times I've had that same fear. I faced it, I pushed through it, and my business exploded after it usually. I'd get 3 or 4 deals from doing it. So here's another way, social media. We find that as a way to connect with your sphere of influence. Again, there's been Instagram updates, different ways to get people through Instagram and through your Facebook groups and Facebook itself. I'm not going to go too deep into this because it changes every 6 months. You can set, like, if you have clients that are moving or you think are moving, you can set them as favorites, by the way, too, on Instagram. You can use your direct messages, your DMs. You can DM these people or your friends or your clients in your sphere of influence on social media and, get responses from them. And if you need information, they didn't answer the phone, DM them because they're much easier to look up too. I mean, most people are listed. Another way. So let's cover direct mail. You might think direct mail is dead. No, just like email, it's really not. It's actually the contrary. So here's something that I didn't really realize till I started doing research on this. 77% of millennials, I'll repeat that again, 77% of millennials have a positive impression of direct mail because keep in mind, they grew up with everything was text. Everything was through social media. Everything was email. So they get a postcard in their hands. It's very tactile. Oh, I can read the postcard. Look, somebody likes me. They sent me something. And it's a really effective way with that group to reach out to them. People get digital fatigue. Everything's online. Everything's in email. I don't get to read a book and page through it anymore. That's why there's people that love to read books. Just want to check the chats. Are there any scripts you recommend when calling? Yeah, you're going to get a copy of that, so you will absolutely see that. Ryan with a lot of good questions, Ryan. Okay, and the other thing you have to realize is that in this day and age, by the way, it's there's also 55% of baby boomers, kind of like me, like to receive direct mail too. The funny thing is, I used to hate it because all I'd go in the mailbox, I'd be stuffed every day. I lived in the same house for 28 years. I'd be stuffed every day. As I moved, that stopped happening. I go out in my mailbox now. Sometimes I pull down the cover and there's nothing in it. And my heart drops like, oh, nobody thinks that much of me anymore. So you'd be surprised how snail mail can actually work. Also keep in mind, 25 or 26% of Americans are still working from home. Now, that may change, but still, you're going to see there's a much bigger gig at home gig economy than there used to be. So, you get to capture them there. Okay. One of the ways to do that is use postcards. Postcards are on the rise, probably because, the rising cost of paper, and heaven knows the cost of stamps keep going up. But here's what postcards force you to do, and I kind of like postcards. So number one, you can choose your picture, right? You can choose whatever attractive picture, whatever you think is going to get people to respond or to flip it over. Two, you have to be concise with your copy. When we write a newsletter, or I can write a 4-page article on something in real estate, nobody wants to read that except for me. I even have to pay my wife to read that stuff. So the reality is, this forces you to get concise with what your copy is, to make it engageable, in the first line. So you really drill down on it. You can also include some digital uh, activity with it, so interactivity. So adding a digital interactive component like a QR code, okay, is an easy way to turn a boring postcard into an effective one. So if you look here, this is what Stacy did. So you want to see the inside of the house. She's not just posting online. She's sending you this out. And she's sending this to a whole neighborhood. She's sending 200 or 300 postcards out to that neighborhood. They snap on the QR code, boom. Next thing, it takes them to her site, probably her YouTube site, where they can see the virtual tour of this house. It's pretty cool. And you can use it for other things. Here's a great thing to use it for. How about a free home estimate? Just all you have to do, click on the QR code, bingo. Fill out 2 things in terms of, your name, phone number, email address, 3 things, your address, 4 things, and you'll hear a call from me and I'll be at your house the next day. So pretty fast response, pretty easy way to gauge how it's working. Is anybody here using QR codes for this type of thing? Okay, Laura, terrific, good. Yeah, I use them a lot. I use them for classes now too. I've made my QR codes into housing shapes. I found you could do different shapes, which it works out kind of cute. Okay. By the way, if you're using QR codes and going, well, how do you do that? See, because we are step by step here, you can go to flowcode.com, go to QRmonkey, which is the one we use, .com, QRcodegenerator.com. There's more than that now. Just check them out, see which is the cheapest, which works best for you, and you can do that. So lastly, here's some bonus ideas to add to your marketing plan. You can add other activities, okay? Like a pop by. I did it was a pretty cool class on digital open houses, or open houses in the digital age, how much it's changed, new ways to hold open houses. And, pop-bys were part of that too. So that's a different idea, but it's still client engagement. Again, this is great too, client events. I've done them at local zoos, been part of ones that have been at, Easter egg hunts. So find a way to get all your clients together. And by the way, don't do that alone. Get your mortgage company, your title company, your home inspector, get all them involved. So number one, you're splitting the cost 4, 5, 6 different ways. Number two, it seems like a much bigger event as they get some of your people involved and they cross-pollinate, which is great because they have conversations which can lead to contracts. And last but not least, handwritten cards. They work very well, okay? You might get a little cramp in your hand, but I'll tell you, people getting a card that's a home card, a handwritten card, nothing beats it. Specifically, thank yous. So there's lots of pieces to the database marketing puzzle. Let's put all the pieces together. So to succeed with database marketing, You need a systematic process and a plan to ensure you hit your goal of 40 touch points per year. As you can see on the diagram, there's multiple steps to get there, but look at the different ways to get here. Okay, look at all these. So you start with emails, your phones, your touch point, social media, direct mail, social media, events, video marketing. There's a ton of different ways that you can do this. Some ways, and by the way, the reason you categorize stuff is because what works for one group may not work for another group, or something may work better. So you leverage technology and automation, because a lot of this can be done automated. That's why you get a CRM, or you can set it up on your calendar that way. You can see different things that we do here. Every Friday we do something different. Every day this person has this set up. They're doing their 2 calls. They social media engage 2-3 days out of the week. So a lot of different ways to set it up, to automate it. Okay, this is the Database Marketing for Real Estate Action Plan Workbook that you're going to get. And at the very end, I'll try and slide back up to the code that you can take a picture of and get a hold of us, so that you can get a copy of this. Has a checklist, has an activity tracker, has a marketing budget planner, has all that stuff in there. It's pretty comprehensive. Okay, let's talk about CRMs. Anybody know what CRM means? Bueller, Customer Relationship Management. CRM helps you manage important information about your leads and your customers. It helps you track your business, automate different tasks, process transactions. You can track expenses, and you can do a whole lot more with it. Who here uses a CRM? You can put that in the chat. So I started to, believe it or not, only about 5 or 6 years ago. I would recommend that you get your own. Now, again, money's tight. If the people that you're working for have one, that's great. Yeah, I'm familiar with KV Core. But in the end, I want my own. Because, listen, life would be great if we're still with the same employer in 15, 20 years. That's great, but it doesn't happen as often. You want to be able to transport that and not have anyone else use that. So think about investing in your own. Okay, which CRM should you use? There's no perfect CRM. You know what there is? You know what the perfect CRM is? You've heard this before. It's the one you're going to use. So your CRM should provide you with the ability to track your closed transactions by lead sources, managed leads, client inquiries, customer contacts. Should be able to track your success with a different marketing campaign. So all of that your CRM can do, or most of them can do. But you want to find one that's going to be easy to use for you. If you're a nerd, kind of like me, and you like the details and you want one that really drills down and can expand wide, then go ahead and get that one. If you want something easy, just can export your Excel database into it, and it'll do 15 or 20 different things, and you can expand on it later. That's the one that you should use then. But a good CRM compiles and provides a complete picture of your business and particularly your sales activities. Everything from database marketing to transactions closed, everything like that. So here's a short list. Now, again, I put this together about a year ago. Subsequently, last December, Follow Up Boss sold to Zillow. I'm not going to sit here and bash Zillow or do anything like that, but I will tell you that I have a distinct distaste for using and investing in something where that's one of my competitors controls, basically. So I'm not a fan of that. And it's a shame because, honestly, Follow Up Boss was a pretty good system. There's Line Desk, there's Top Producer, there's Boomtown. there's contactually, there's real vol, there's pipe drive. So there's a whole bunch of, and property based too. And there's new ones. I mean, there are new ones coming out every 3 months on this. So find one you like, stick with it, try it out. Now, and by the way, most of these you can test drive. They'll allow you to test drive it for 3 to 5 days, 10 days, whatever it is. I highly recommend you do that and see if it works for you. So hopefully you learn some effective ways to help you with your database marketing. Now, let's do a summary. So organizing your database for success. We went through your database marketing plan, step by step, 4 key activities to your database marketing plan, choosing a CRM that's right for you, and tracking and measuring to improve your results. That's really super important. And that's what one of the biggest things your CRM will help you do, other than keeping in touch with your clients, is helping you test marketing campaigns to see what works. We teach a whole lot of classes on marketing, everything from Facebook ads on down the line. But, for everyone, it's a little bit different. They're going to put their own spin on it. So to see how it works, you really have to track it. And that will allow you to get better and better as time goes on. Okay. So did anybody get one big idea? We've got 3-4 minutes left. If anyone got one big idea, please put it in the chat. And oh, by the way, while they're doing that, so because I'm in marketing and we're all in marketing and we're all in sales, I would say everybody lives and dies by reviews, specifically Google reviews. So if you're using Yelp or Zillow or something else to get your reviews, I highly recommend you stop doing that. And I used all of them, and I started using just Google, because when people search you, when somebody's referred to you, what do you do? So when somebody's referred to you, you ask for a landscaper or you're looking for an accountant. Friends will give you a name. What's the first thing you do? You Google them, right? That's what people are doing to you. So if you don't have your Google business profile, and by the way, we did a thing on YouTube. You can see it there. It was like 4 or 5 months ago. I really got it. It was well received. And that's my best class because it gets immediate results. But that's where people will look you up. So if you haven't filled out your Google business profile, and you can put different stuffs on it, you can put the lists on there as products. So remember those buying and selling lists? You can do that. You can put your listings on there. How many people knew that? So I would highly recommend that you fill out your Google business profile. And this is where they have a link. All you have to do is ask for a review at a specific time. I do it right before closing, and people will write you glowing reviews. It's a great place to do that. So if you could do that for me, if you enjoyed this class, if you got something out of it, if you'd like to see other classes, if you have interest in different things, scan this, take a picture of this and, fill that out later. And again, I answer every review and every question on the reviews. Let's see what we have in the chats. Stephanie's going to cancel our follow-up boss account when we get off the webinar. And it's such a shame, Stephanie. It was a good product too. I liked the product, but yeah, you should invest in a database. If you want to use something else, there's a lot of good database management and CRMs out there. There's many good. Do a Google business listing and use the products. Yeah, absolutely do that. Nice summary of concepts I've used in drifting from. Okay, very good. Okay, so I hope you got a lot out of this. I thank you so much for spending the time. Again, please leave a review. And let me go. By the way, if you're looking for a partnership with someone who invests back into you, I'd love to help you. I'm national. I can do this all over the country in terms of loans. My goal here is really to help you guys. I've been doing this for over 30 years, and I love it when the light bulb goes off. If I've given you one idea that helps you further your career, I'm a happy camper. As I think I told you, I would go back up to, nope, that's the wrong thing. Sorry about that. Let me see. Oh, now it's going to record everything I said. Let me see if I can get back here. Yes, there we go. Okay, here we go. This is the scan me function. Again, if you can screen capture this and later on register here, you will get that list, that database marketing list to take you through the steps. If anyone has any questions, again, please reach out to me. I'm happy to help any one of you in any way that I can. Again, I hope you enjoyed this and you have a great rest of your Monday. Be productive.